for the hardest-hitting show in talk radio. The true progressive voice since 2012. This is Southpaws.
And welcome to Southpaws on the Pacifica Radio Network. We are the leaders of the revolution. My name is Darren Gibson, and I'm your co-host.
Yes, my name is Jack Prince, your fellow co-host.
Well, we've got quite a bit to talk about. It seems like we always have too much to talk about and run out of time, so we're going to get things started right away by letting you know that you can follow us on social media by going to facebook.com/Southpaws Radio Show. You can follow us on Twitter at Southpaws Radio. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/Southpaws Radio. You can listen to the show anytime you like at Spreaker.com. Do a search for Southpaws there. You can also find us at the iTunes Store under podcasts. Do a search for Southpaws. Once you find our logo, you found us. All of our episodes go to our YouTube page as well. Go to youtube.com and search for Southpaws Radio there. And we're on Pacifica stations across the country, including KCEI-FM, Taos, New Mexico, KZGM, Kabul, Missouri, and Global Community Radio Channel 1 every Monday night at 9 p.m. We're on right after Democracy Now! Make sure you check us out there. Oh, you're probably wondering why I'm playing Gordon Lightfoot. We are recording on Friday, November the 8th. Sunday, November 10th, will be the 44th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald in Lake Superior, where 29 sailors died. So this is kind of our annual tradition here, playing the Gordon Lightfoot song, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So
Gordon's greatest accomplishment musically, according to Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah.
This song.
I would agree. I would definitely agree with that.
All right. It captures the November feeling, doesn't it? Just the
I told my mom last night. I said, we got the snow. The winds in November came early."
Yeah, well, they're always early out there in the great Gucci Gumi. But I had a relative that went down in that ship. I didn't know it, but
really,
I got a family tree study that a relative who had a broken leg had some time put together. We had a member in the family went down in the ship, but I think the message really is that the working people in this country have been, let's face it, in the worst possible conditions. You can go a little farther north up to the Big Mac. I don't know how many men fell and were part of the concrete footings still there.
With the Mackinac Bridge, my dad has worked on the Mackinac Bridge, so
they were taking guys that walked in for a job,
and
then the next thing you knew, they were 200 feet straight up in the air, and a lot of them just froze and just fell. I mean, there was no screening, there was no warning.
I remember a story. There was one guy that went up there. I think he came from Texas. Oh, yeah, I'm big and brave. I can handle anything. He got up there and froze, and he had to be rescued down. And they're like, yeah, you're not going to work here. You can't do it. So,
and some guy in Chicago picked up the Chicago Tribune and read of the accident and took a pencil and wrote down what it was going to cost him.
Oh, wow.
In that list, you can bet there weren't the lives of men whose families are waiting for them to come home.
Yeah, a lot of those sailors that were on that ship were from Wisconsin. There were several from Ohio as well.
Yeah, my relative was from Ohio.
Yeah, I think there were maybe one or two Michiganians on board, or Michiganders, I should say.
Michiganders.
Yep. Oh, so, yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's get into our topic for today.
It doesn't get any better than that.
The big
the sinking of a ship, but
the ship that's sinking might be the Republicans. We just had an election on Tuesday. How
can the ship sink? It's not even floating.
Yeah, November 5th will go down as the day that the Democrats took over Virginia for the first time in like 20 years. A new governor-elect in Kentucky with Andy Beshear, the Attorney General, and the son of former Governor Beshear. Actually, our announcer met Andy Beshear, but she met his parents. Mm-hmm. So, to hear some of these establishment Democrats talk, oh no, we should give up this fight for what they call purity. No, purity is a form of gaslighting, folks. Let's just call it what it is. When you have somebody that says, oh, we shouldn't have purity, they're gaslighting you. And I want to read something real quick here that was posted on my Facebook I think about a year ago. It popped up in my memories, and I decided to share it again. I want to read this to you. Don't fight hate with hate is an example of subtle gaslighting, where our legitimate hurt and anger at the injustices we suffer is being equated to the bigotry and abuse of our oppressors. Being angry doesn't mean you are being hateful. It means you love yourself enough to get upset at your own mistreatment. And I think a lot of people forget that. You do have a right to be upset. And I was upset when I heard this. This is from about a week and a half ago. Former President Barack Obama was speaking in Chicago at an Obama Foundation get-together. And I want you to take a listen to this, folks. This runs about a minute 54. He has his take on people who spout purity, as he calls it.
This idea of purity, and you're never compromised, and you're always politically woke and all that stuff. You should get over that quickly. The world is messy. There are ambiguities. Yep. People who do really good stuff have flaws. Right. People who you are fighting may love their kids, and share certain things with you. And I think that one danger I see among young people, particularly on college campuses, Malia and I talk about this. Yara goes to school with my daughter. But I do get a sense sometimes now among certain young people, and this is accelerated by social media, there is this sense sometimes of the way of me making change is to be as judgmental as possible about other people. And that's enough. Like if I tweet or hashtag about how you didn't do something right or used the wrong verb, or then I can sit back and feel pretty good about myself because, man, you see how woke I was? I called you out. Let me get on TV. Watch my show. Watch Grownish. That's not activism. That's not bringing about change. If all you're doing is casting stones, you're probably not going to get that far. That's easy to do.
Yeah, I really want to address that.
I'm right behind you.
Jack, you've been an activist for quite a long time. What do you think of his comments?
Well, I think it's the best antidote that the establishment party, of which Obama is a card-carrying member and has been, it's the best short phrase they have to throw into objective and powerful refusal to go down the road with the corporate Dem establishment, limousine liberals, whatever you want to call them. They come back with this purity crap. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It would seem to me that when they maintain the world is complicated, and that does that mean, therefore, Mr. Obama, that we're to embrace the Wall Street leaders that are the antithesis of democracy like you did? Was it so complicated a week into your new term of election as a president of the United States that you had to take Larry Summers and Gettner and on and on and on it goes, and you never turn from that relationship with the corporate world? They were packed into your cabinet. Mm-hmm. Did you sit down, Obama, and think, geez, it's complicated out there? I've got people who are anti-corporate. I've got people who are pro-corporate. I guess it's so overlapping, complicated, I better use both mental types on my board. But no, you didn't. You're the one that was pure. Obama, you are a pure establishment, corporate, DLC, Clinton Democrat. Pure. No mixture, although you do a good job of putting out some supposed pink meat to the progressives. Your MO and your legacy and your actions is 100% purely a corporate Democrat. That's what's pure here this morning. Pure than your accusations that people who've had enough of the venal relationship between the DNC and the corporate world, your accusations that represents purity, no. You are a pure corporate fun-fed Democrat. You are indicative of what's wrong with the party, what's wrong with our democracy, why we have Hillary Clinton. That's the purity I'm going to identify this morning. I've been an activist for a long time. It took me a while to realize, I think in Philadelphia, that it was wasted activism to put your time, money, and effort into the Democratic Party. And I heard a man on the radio named Darren Gibson say they're not going to receive another dime of mine right after it was uncovered how bad they were cheating. And that was a unison that two of us made over that one point.
After Arizona in 2016, my exact quote was, "I will never give another goddamn penny to the Democratic Party." For that, the chair of 3rd Congressional District, Michigan, called up my boss at the time and wanted me fired.
Yeah, that's purity, Darren. That's pure bullcrap.
Yep.
And as far as I'm concerned, Obama's the guy is smooth. The guy really could sell mattresses to dead people. I mean, he is very smooth, but he's full of crap. Mm-hmm. That was one of the more disgusting things I've ever heard him say.
You know what?
He's the most photogenic guy, him and Shelley, whatever he calls his wife.
Michelle, yeah.
Michelle. Man, they look like Hallmark cards. They're just perfect, arm in arm. And he is a great speaker, and he has compassion a mile beyond Trump, but he is branded on his rear end as a corporate Dem. Has been, always will be, and that's why we reject his bullcrap this morning here.
Yep.
Just totally reject it.
Yep, right here is what Obama's full of. Yeah. When he says purity, it's pure bullshit.
That's what's pure about it.
Right there it is, folks, in a nutshell.
The world's messy, he says. Yeah, you know how I got that way?
Because of his buddies.
And because of the years of compromise with the dollar bill and the power-hungry people, yourself included, that sold any principles away. And then anybody that stands on a principle, you attack them as being pure? Mm-hmm. What does principled mean anymore?
Apparently there's no point in being principled, according to him.
No, it's kumbaya, and you vote for any crappy thing a D stands next to.
You know what? In bringing this up, I want to mention this real quick. We can either continue with it or we can move off of it. But a couple of weeks ago on this very show, I made a comment where I said that the selling of U.S. military weapons to Saudi Arabia will one day bite us in the ass. Here's your prelude to it. Folks, many of you know that I am a big professional wrestling fan. Well, on October 31st, World Wrestling Entertainment sent a crew of wrestlers and production staff to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. This is the second Crown Jewel pay-per-view that they have produced in Riyadh. Yeah. Well, Vince McMahon, let me lay the path here. Vince McMahon set up this deal with the Saudis where they were going to pay him hundreds of millions of dollars to produce these shows in Saudi Arabia. Of course, they won't let women wrestle because, God forbid, their eyesight see a woman without a hijab on. Although I will give credit where credit is due, 2 women wrestled on this show, which shocked the hell out of me. But they haven't paid Mr. McMahon, allegedly, So, according